And so I was looking at Arnold, and it was his video of him lifting. Now it's Arnold Schwarzenegger lifting, and you get amateurs at all levels critiquing his form and saying it's bad. Okay, so what I thought would be awesome, they're asking if you're natty. If you're natty.
What's natty?
Natty is what these guys do. It's usually the very thin, small guys that ask if you're natty or not.
All right.
And natty is, I don't know what does natty stand for?
Natural.
Natural.
No, I'm definitely, if you're talking about steroids, I'm natural.
Well, I got a question for you, because this is kind of funny that we lead off with something like this. The positive and negative. And so I found it so crazy, mind-blowing to me that we're in a field and we've created a lifestyle which allows us to sit at the table with the most elite in our business and other businesses, which is cool. But then I always question, do the other elites get the negativity? And so I was looking at Arnold, and it was his video of him lifting. Now it's Arnold Schwarzenegger lifting, and you get amateurs at all levels, even some pros that I believe are mentally amateurs, critiquing his form and saying it's bad. And I'm looking around going, really, you would question that?
Right.
And so I noticed with you just did something, and we're going to show some video of this, a pup that you guys pulled out of the shelter, right?
Jackson Walker pulled out of the shelter, about 8 to 9 year old, maybe 10, out of the Downey shelter. And this, we'll shoot the video, was the saddest dog I've ever seen. I mean,
I just saw the video for the first time.
Tumors. He had about almost 4 pounds of tumors hanging on his body. And who's going to,
Yeah.
the average person is not going to adopt that dog. And he was, as we term it, death row. He was going to be put to sleep, which fortunately, in fact, as a matter of fact, one of the other rescue groups that I work with, as soon as they saw Mason, the dog's name is Mason, in my office, he goes, I know that dog. He was in the Downey shelter. He goes, I wanted to pull him. And his boss at another rescue, not to mention names, said no, because it would be too tough, too much work to fix it.
So by me looking at this video, I'm an average Joe, so I don't know the medical and the tumors and the age of the dog. I'm going to assume he was on that too much trouble. But you guys did some tests on it. I'm assuming, what was the process for you going, I'm not giving up on this, I want to find out and see what I can do?
So what happened was, when they pulled the dog, they brought it to me for a checkup, and I, of course, concerned. I know that the tumors were something called mast cell tumors that are very serious. And so the first thing I did was, let's evaluate the dog. Let's look at this dog without the tumors for just a minute. Let's see, has there been any spread of tumors to the liver, the lungs? Let's do a quick chest X-ray. Easy. Let's do a quick ultrasound. Everything looked great. All right, now.
So even though he had these tumors, it didn't spread into the organs at that point?
Correct.
Okay.
And that doesn't say they're not going to.
Right.
But at this point, we have to ask ourselves, is it even worth putting this poor dog through all this surgery if the outcome is just knock it out? Then we do a blood test, because to me, AIDS is not a disease. I would hate to think that I'm going to need something at some point in my life, and I'll be 70-something, 68 now,
right.
I'm 70-something, and they go, Doc, you're in great shape for your age. You really are, but you're 70. We're not
replacing a hip. We're not replacing a shoulder. There's just no point.
That's crazy to me. So bloods were good, and I said to the rescue, I said, "Look, Wags, this dog's name is Mason." I said, "I think we can do this. I felt the masses. I felt they were fairly resectable. I can remove them. I give good margins, and let's give it a shot." Well, you're going to see what.
And you'll see that video go from that point, but I'm not going to jump forward yet to tell these guys just yet what happened. What I thought was interesting is that you and I talked before we went live today, and you got a lot of
hate mail
telling you to put the dog down, call it quits.
Right. Why did you put that dog through all that? You should have just put him to sleep. You should have. It's like, whoa. if this were your dog, if this was one of your kids.
See, I know what happens, and so it's kind of nice that you get to stick this to those people that kind of talked.
Right. It's funny.
For me, I like that stuff.
I did you mentioned about how these amateurs, and it reminds me of the story. I had these two, I do a lot of tumor surgeries. And so I had these two dogs, and it was the weirdest thing. They had the exact same tumor in the exact same place. One dog was about 80 pounds. The other was a little Chihuahua. And the fact that they came in a day apart, and it was like they were talking to each other on the phone, saying, "Hey, buddy, I got this tumor.
I got tumor. Go in.
I want to go." So we're showing the tumors, and I'm in surprised how similar they were. The location was almost exactly the same, right on the right thigh. So I already gave the sedation to the first dog. The bigger dog, we're going to do that one first. And as I'm talking, he's now kind of anesthetized. He's got his tube. He's lying on the table, surgery table, ready to go. And I'm now saying, "You think this is bad?" And I bring in the second dog. My tech brings it to me. And as I'm talking, I set this little 3-4 pound Chihuahua on this 80-pound dog, right? And I'm sort of like petting and showing one. And these technicians, mind you, not veterinarians, they're vet techs. Maybe frustrated veterinarians, they couldn't make it to vet school. I don't know. But they write, how could you put that dog on top of the anesthetized dog? It's like, are you joking? That's like you carrying Titan on your shoulders.
Right.
I can't believe you sat on your shoulders. It was like this dog was huge. And that's what people pick on. They have to pick on something.
The littlest thing.
They have to let someone else know that I know a lot too. And when, in fact, you don't know anything.
So I love, you're so removed. I know you personally are a health and fitness nut, but veterinarian is so removed from a guy doing form in a gym on workouts. And it's funny going from, you were one of the most elite vets that I know from around the world. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of these most elite. And you both get this hate, which is ironic. It's so weird to me that there's that common kind of person out there going, I know a bit of everything. And
I know more than you.
We talk about this Dunning-Kruger effect of the person that reads the one book and suddenly they know as much as you know.
Right.
And it's a frustrating thing because now you're going to see the video. And again, if I saw the first video, my heart would break. And I got some great friends, Mickey Rourke and Danny Hester. Danny Hester was the first Mr. Olympia physique. We always send dog videos together, but these are the type of videos we send,
right?
Because we're dog guys, and then we love to see the transformation of them being in the shelter or something, and then surviving and getting a good home.
The best.
And this video has that, and it's over 7 million views because of the fact that there's so many good dog people out there that sees the struggle and how the dog was, and then you didn't give up on it, and you come out the other side. And this dog is happy now.
Oh my God! To see that, when I mentioned how, for me, we don't always get to see immediate results, and sometimes we don't get to see the results we hope. Medicine is not an exact science. I think it is, but you can have a dose. I mention this all the time. You give the exact textbook dose to 2 dogs. One dog will do fine, and the other dog will either do nothing or be dangerous. And there's no way to predict it. You just got to go with what's recommended.
Writing this down. I have my reasons.
Okay, so when I see a dog where the transformation took place so quickly, within 10 days post-op and then a 3-week post-op, and you see this dog who, in the very initial video, I look at again and again and again, it's just how sad he looked. His eyes, he just looked like a sad boy that was in this poor cage. Nobody wanted him. You could just tell he wanted the affection, the attention, but nobody would give it to him because these tumors were really gross. And now to see him chasing a ball, his little boy in the family, maybe 8-9 years old, throwing a ball for this dog, he's chasing. That's what I do.
That makes it worthwhile.
Absolutely.
Okay, because I'm going to lead us into another discussion, which is ironic that it's such a we're on the same road, even though we are in 2 different fields. And that is that we just talked about, you can bring in 2 dogs, similar problems, similar things, you give them medication, And again, like anything, you can't confirm, hey, you're the vet. If I bring my dog to you, he has to be okay 100%. I already know common sense. That's not your job. Your job is to do the very best you can for the pup.
Right.
What it is what it is. And so you bring in two dogs. They both have the same thing. One dog makes it. One dog doesn't make it. For you, how do you relate that? Or how do you talk to people saying not every dog is the same, just like every person is not the same?
It's really tough. And what you said is what I sort of live by and survive by, because there are a lot of problems in the veterinary world right now. And sadly, and I don't know if we talked about this, whereas of all the medical professions, it used to be dentists and sometimes some people say psychiatrists had the highest suicide rates. Sadly,
I did not even know that.
Yes, sadly now, veterinarians. And this to me is such a shocker.
So you're saying the actual veterinarians, because of the fact of the stress of the job?
The stress of the job, we call compassion fatigue, we call it high student debt, we call it demanding.
Before you continue, I wrote this, that is the follow-up question. Holy sheesh. Wow, that was my follow-up question, and I'll continue.
No, and I look at it is that, to me, compassion is not fatigue. It doesn't fatigue me. It doesn't tire me. Passion and compassion are what drives me.
But how do you continue it when you get this? Because there is a pound, or you're getting pound down with the negativity of the viewers going, I know that more than you, Doc. Put the dog down, let this dog live, pay attention to this dog, skip that, you're doing it wrong. That doesn't interfere, or because it does with some people.
We have to be really confident in what we know. One of the things that I've learned, and I'm in my 39th year, so to finish my 39 years in practice, plus the 4 years before that as a technician. So I've been in this business for a long time. Now you can have knowledge, but what I find there's a big difference. If you don't have experience, to go with the knowledge, you cannot be wise. Wisdom comes with experience. And so what I find is that these young doctors, they're smart, but if they, without the experience, they are going to be affected by these failures.
Will you read more quote, Jeff?
Than they should.
I don't know who says it, but he says, education gets you so far and experience finishes it.
Absolutely.
And it is the experience. And I feel in the health and fitness world, it is, you get so many people that read the book and they're great. They can dictate that book back to you. They have no clue what the experience of that really is.
And so when I feel that young doctors and medical doctors, veterinary doctors, they have to know that from the get-go, we will not cure everyone. Just can't. It's not real. And there has to be a reality check. And one of the two things that when things don't work out well, we introspect. We really do. It drives me nuts. I review everything I did. What could I have done differently? What should I have done differently? And as long as I don't make that same mistake again, if there was a mistake made, and none of us are perfect. Think about this. You get. I like to say this all the time. You go to school and you graduate with a 95% average. 95%. That's an A. Pretty much anybody's book, that's an A. But wait a second, what happened to the other 5%? Right? You didn't get those questions right. And you're still an A student.
You're still the best there is.
Right. So it's reality. And a lot of times it's your fault because you made a mistake, made a judgment call. A lot of what we do is judgments. We have to make a judgment call sometimes. Hopefully, with more experience, you're going to make the right judgment call. Sometimes it's not good. Or it might have been the right for that patient, but it didn't work for this patient. Nothing you can do about it. Do I lose sleep? Yeah, it bugs me. But to think that I'm going to have to, compassion fatigue is going to take me? Absolutely not. If anything, I'm going to drive even harder.
Passion fatigue.
Compassion fatigue.
Passion fatigue.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that just means that
they're overly
the loss builds up, and then you finally just, I'm done.
Right. And coupled with long hours, and coupled with another thing that, because we were talking about how many experts there are, right? That every pet parent becomes an expert.
Right.
It's like I say, when these
I'm on 3 dogs, I know what to do.
Exactly. And I get this because, for example, we talked about the different vaccine scheduling and how it's changed over the years. And And I'll talk to a breeder sometimes who's still doing the old 6, 8, and 10-week vaccines, which is not only not effective, it's potentially dangerous because it uses a mom's passive immunity way too fast. And I try to explain all these things we've learned over the years about the immune system and what's right and how it works, etc. And I do my best. I'm pretty good at explaining things. Listen here, my son, I've been doing this for 40 years. I think I know what I'm doing by now. And I said, yeah, that was maybe what it was 40 years ago, but it's not that way now. Every 5 years, when it comes to medicine, every 5 years, half of what we knew as gospel is now obsolete.
That's